Does anyone feel as strongly as I do when it comes to preserving cultures and languages? It's really ironic coming out of my mouth because my son doesn't speak Spanish and I tried teaching him.
Yeah,
very ironic.
It came out of my mouth that I would not teach you Cantonese because I think it's a dying language.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What an optimist.
And that makes me really sad because I don't know, like when I hear about the whole Japanese internment camps like period in the US and how a lot of Japanese people wanted to erase their culture and just assimilate to the American culture, that like breaks my heart hearing that.
Well, they wanted to do that outwardly though, not necessarily inwardly.
What do you mean?
Well, like a lot of that was mostly them trying to seem like they were trying to acclimate to U.S. culture, but then eventually it ended up happening anyway. But they didn't necessarily want to do that. They were just trying to do what they thought.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Everyone wanted them to do.
Yeah, not necessarily that they wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they're just trying to prove their patriotism.
Exactly.
My grandparents really were patriots though. They came over here through the US Navy from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And they were so happy to be Americans that they didn't want to teach their kids Tagalog or anything because they wanted them to like assimilate and like blend in and like be American, and they were just thankful to like become citizens. So it's interesting hearing two sides of the coin too, because I'm bummed. I want to know Tagalog and my dad wishes he knew Tagalog, but for them they were like, we succeeded in being Americans. So it's interesting.
That's true.
And my great-great-grandparents were slave owners, and they were like, listen, we really want to teach the slaves.
Jesus.
No, they wanted to teach the slaves math. They wanted to teach the slaves math, which a lot of the slave owners at the time, they were like, we don't think that that's a good idea.
Such progressives.
Yeah, you're right. And then, actually my great-great-great-grandparents, they taught their slaves math, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So then they could count the amount of years that they were slaves for.
Nice. Were they grateful for it? Did they like?
No, they were a bunch of ungrateful fuckers,
Oh,
man.
I see.
It's unbelievable.
You do not know if you have slave
They're
owners
so ungrateful.
in your family tree.
He gave them that knowledge.
Yeah,
And
he allowed them.
You know what? And ultimately, they led an uprising, and they used it against them. Like, we added up. We've been
Can't believe they backstabbed them
We've
like
been
that.
slaves for 2 generations, and that's fucked up. And then my grandparents were like, God damn it, I told you, Harold. And then
Harold.
Harold.
true story. 100% true.
Yeah, well, anyway, I am pretty bummed that I did not succeed in passing on the language of Spanish to my son.
It's not too late.
He probably has a good
Yeah.
foundation. He can pick it up in high school or whatever.
Well,
Yeah, but
it's
that
'cause-
teenage brain, though, too
It's
distracted.
It's because, like, okay, a lot of people tell me, like, what do you mean? Like, you could easily just speak to him Spanish all day and he'll pick it up and whatever. It's not easy teaching someone that rejects the thing that you're trying to teach.
They have to want it.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, of course.
I've been kind of like incepting this thought of like it's really, really badass and cool to know different languages. We started watching James Bond, and I was like, oh, dude, James Bond's speaking Spanish in this scene. That's tight. How many languages did
Did you just flip the subject? Did you flip the audio?
Oh yeah, it's like just change the language. Yes, James Bond's speaking
Mandarin. Oh shit.
that whole thing about switching the language on whatever he's watching when he was younger, when he was like 2 years old, 3 years old, I would switch all the Disney DVDs to be in Spanish. So I tried, guys. I did. But then instead he would be so angry that he'd leave the room. He hated it when it was on Spanish, and I'm like,
Well, it's what,
por favor.
it's what he understood. I get it.
I
I
know.
get
I
it.
thought his mom was yelling at him again.
These cartoons yelling at me like my mom.
They do sound like they're yelling, huh? When they're in Spanish, they're like more high pitched.
It's hard though when
Fast.
you have a primary language mother who's primarily English, like not primarily.
really
It's just hard. That's hard.
Especially like, with Casey not knowing Spanish too, it's been really hard to implement that in.
It's all your
I
fault.
ruined it. I ruined it all.
It's really not a failure though. It's not.
I feel like a failure.
It's just a language.
You know why? Because I was hella judgmental when I was younger. And then there would be kids in my school and almost everyone spoke Spanish, but then this kid, like they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm Mexican, but I don't speak Spanish. I was such like...
Dude,
I was
old
so
Mexican
judgmental.
ladies get mad at me for not knowing Spanish because they think I'm Mexican.
Yeah, so...
That's even worse.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm
Shame on you.
Filipina.
You should just learn some Tagalog and then like say it back to them.
And then I'm like, hola, and they're like, oh, see, he knows. They love me. They love me.
I think that's why, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, maybe that was my karma. You know, I judged
For being a
man.
bitch.
Well,
Just
you're
like-
already like what, second generation?
Yeah,
So the other kid is probably like Isaac's generation in his family.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, maybe it was karma. I should have been more understanding and just be like, hey, you know what? Well, if you want to learn, I could teach
But
you.
you're also a kid.
Hey, look,
I know.
I go to my Vallarta and I'm like, hey, tipi and they're like, and I'm like, I'm so good at Spanish, man.
I love how you have to.
I'm so good.
You know, when you speak Spanish, you have no shoulders, no neck, no neck.
We're gonna be in a Mexican restaurant. I'm gonna see Steve's like shoulders going. I'm like, I need to leave now. I need to leave.
Yo quiero salsa.
How you say, como se dice, chimichanga? Thank you.
Gracias. I like how it switched to English.
Thank you.
Anyway, the reason why I bring up language is because this guy named Daniel, he has created an online library to preserve all the languages. So there's 7,000 languages that are spoken around the world, and 500 of them are at risk of being forgotten.
Does he know that this is already covered?
What do you mean?
I mean, there's literally a place in Antarctica that has the entire fucking human dictionary, and it has like every
Is this a conspiracy?
species.
Isn't that the one with the plants in it? All the seeds?
Exactly,
Oh, the seeds?
exactly. It's got everything.
Oh, I didn't know it was other shit. I thought it was just
No, it's got the
I thought it was the
history.
seeds.
Why is it in Antarctica? Like, why is the key to human history in the place where humans don't go?
No one can steal it.
Preserves.
It's Noah's Ark, bro. It's got our entire history baked into it. So yeah, it's got all of our.
I thought it was only seeds too.
Because anytime I hear about it, it's just like, we'll put some more plants in there. I'm like, cool.
Well, okay, it probably is, but we also spent Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 in space, and that has like all that shit.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna play a little video clip of all of this. Salud.
Of the roughly 7,000 languages spoken and signed on Earth, about 500 of them are currently at risk of disappearing as the number of native speakers dwindles.
My name is Daniel, and I am the co-founder and director of WikiTongues, a nonprofit powered by more than 1,000 volunteers around the world, working to preserve, promote, and pass on every language to the next generation. Every day, hundreds of volunteers around the world are recording videos.
Etisema Eshkuniyawa Ikualikata Iluchi Yoroni.
I help keep track of all of these videos as they're submitted so that they can be reused for educational and cultural purposes. WikiTongues has recorded over 435 languages from over 70 countries. That number changes every day. There are plenty of examples of languages being brought back from the dead. There's Cornish, there's Hebrew, there's Tunica. It's a way of ensuring that future generations can revive their languages even if they go extinct.
Well, cool. Can you guys do Gen Y shit, please? Like, because I just heard a kid tell me,
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it was.
I don't know. You're looking at me.
That wouldn't you know?
I don't know what you're talking
What's
about.
your haircut?
It's shorter.
No, what was it? It was, fuck.
Is lit one of them words?
No.
That's
Lit,
old.
we all know lit.
Yeet.
Hello, fellas.
Yeet's not even it. No, that's old shit. It was two things put together that made me go like, whoa, you can put those together.
Like tick-tock?
No, not quite. Not quite. Damn it. It was
To
like
cut your hair?
It was like the end of a sentence. It's like it's so done that it's extra. Oh! I got it. Ready? Well done. Period.
What the fuck? That's old as shit.
Oh, is it?
Are you serious?
Pretty old.
Oh, I thought that was.
I haven't heard of that.
What? It's like
I don't know
it's
shit.
done. Period.
Period. It's like, hey, it's so done. It's got a D and then it's got a T because it's so done.
Did he say this or is it written?
I don't fucking know.
What?
When you heard it.
Where were you?
I was writing a goddamn script. I'm trying to have kids talk like how kids talk, and so me and Michael.
No one
are going
says
to
it out loud.
And we're looking up fucking
Don't say it out loud.
period.
I would love you and Michael like showing up in the fucking like Steve Buscemi like outfit and like, hello fellow youths.
Hello, fellow Gen Wires.
In the fucking like.
I just saw you guys like in 30 years. It was so funny.
I just yeeted my way over.
It's not how you use that word. But you guys remind me now of like 10 years ago when Michael had a co-writer on Smiley, or he had and Smiley was he was older. He was like 40 or whatever, and he was
40
writing-
then.
He was writing dialogue for teenagers, and it was clearly like a 40-something person writing dialogue for teenagers. And you guys were all making fun of it, and now you're that.
Listen, by the way, tell me about it. Because yesterday when we were looking this shit up, the entire time Michael's saying this shit out loud, I'm like, you're fucking boomer Shut the fuck up,
You should
boomer.
ask me. I've been studying them.
Okay, I will.
Okay, boomer.
I know. I'm Ian Boomery.
Be a script advisor for my new one. Thank you.
Can you imagine like having an advisor and be like this like 15-year-old just coming? No. No, we gotta rewrite.
That's the problem. Is my main character is a 13-year-old. So then I gotta look over.
And even our youngest people that we used to go to see like what was cool, they're all like 23 now. It's like you're too old now.
And they were the 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Isaac. He's 12.
Exactly.
Perfect.
True. It's one of them.
Yeet's still going on.
He's like, let's go. Always.
Let's go.
To what? To anything?
No, so like when he's happy about something, so he'd be like, Mommy, can I have some Takis? And I'm like, okay, fine, you had lunch. And he goes, let's go. And I'm like,
Well, can I just say that
Sounds like a little
there's almost
true.
like a beautiful.
that does.
No, because Tom Brady, when he goes to field, he's like, let's fucking go. So like the same shit. And Tom Brady's like 43.
Yeah, I think Let's Go's been around for a while.
No, but the
Yeah,
way he's
let's go.
saying
But it's the way that he's saying it with the hand
But
movement.
that gives me hope, is what I'm saying, because I can understand and communicate that. It's like I went back into ancient Egypt and I'm talking to somebody. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
I speak your language.
True, I wonder what that would be like to go back in
It'd be
time
crazy.
and speak to someone in English, but it's not really English because they have different.
They have a different English, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd probably burn you for being a witch.
Yeah, and by the way, they're probably like, hey, life sucks. There's no joy here. Fuck off with your
That's
joy.
how I feel about Love Island learning new words because they're always like saying they have different slang than us, and so
I'm buzzing.
Oh, like British.
I'm buzzing, mate, and they'll be like, have I been mugged off?
Have I got mug written on my forehead?
Have I got mug written across my face? Yeah.
I would love it if like somebody wrote a fake British show and didn't tell America that it was a fake
That's
British show
tight.
and just like started coming up with like bullshit and be like,
Oh my god, it's like Daryl on The Office when he taught Michael.
yeah, like slang and
If
shit.
you cast young enough kids though, then all these like people like me and Nikki are like, okay, I guess kids are saying mug now. Okay,
The trend.
That's what I mean though, is like just do it and release it on the world and see what happens.
that's good.
That's funny.